Hey, everybody. It's Mother Theresa here. Tuesday night, 7:01. You know what time it is. It's time to grandstand. Go ahead and get your favorite snack, your favorite beverage, and join me as we grandstand for about the next 30 or 45 minutes. Call your friends, call your family. Let them know that it's time to grandstand. And you don't want to miss this topic on tonight. All right. How many people have you texted and told them, listen, you need to tune in to grandstanding on tonight? I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Let them know Mother Theresa is on. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello there, my Call Pep Nard crew. I see that you all are definitely in the house on tonight. You probably even have the sugars with you so they can watch along with you. But listen, everybody, I hope everyone has had a great week thus far and a great week since the last time that we were together. Yes, a lot has happened and a lot will continue to happen. That's what life is all about. So what we are going to talk about tonight is just part of life. I started on Monday talking about the seasons changing. Actually, I started last week talking about the seasons changing. And so on tonight, we're going to go a little bit further into that conversation. So for those that are joining us for the very first time, I am Mother Theresa, actually the other Mother Theresa from East Texas, that is, namely Nacogdoches, Texas. And welcome to Grandstanding with Mother Theresa, where I come on Tuesday nights and I talk about the grand things that is happening in my life and the lives of those that are close to me, my family, my friends, the people that are just in my circle. And not only that, but we also talk about the things that is probably affecting you and those that are in your circle. We just drop a little bit of nuggets along the way, and hopefully it's some practical applications and some tips and strategies for everyday life. Okay. And so we talk about just everyday things. We just want to be an encouragement to those that are listening. And hopefully you will be able to pick up a little nugget along the way. Well, guess what? I told you all that we were going to continue our conversation about seasons changing. So tonight, my topic is Let It Fall. Releasing what no longer serves you. And if somebody can put that in the chat, I said, let it fall. Releasing what no longer serves you. So there are some things that we just naturally carry on with us, even though it is not serving you. I think I see XOXO. That means that my mom has joined in she is watching on tonight. Yay, Mama. I'm so glad that you're here with us on tonight. So that means Mama's not taking her nap. My mom had been taking her nap on the last couple of weeks, and I was like, hey, I need somebody to call and check on my mom, because my mom is typically if not the first person on between her and maybe my husband and my girls, it is typically my mom. So Mom, thank you for putting off your nap for tonight. I'm so glad to have you back with us. And hello there, my Shekinah and everybody that's with us. So again, like I was saying, a lot of times we seem to hold on to things that is no longer serving us any purpose. And I talked about the trees changing colors and doing the things that trees do in the fall. And if you all know um, about how the changes begin to happen in this season of fall, you know that the leaves begin to fall. You know that they are beginning to change colors. And let me just tell you, number one, that when Boris and I went to Arlington on last year, it was around Christmas time. You all, we saw the most vibrant colors of trees in Arlington. And it reminded me of being in East Texas on that drive from Nacogdoches to Tyler, and where you see all the beautiful fall foliage where the leaves are changing and all of those different things. Miracle, you're so ready? Yes, absolutely. But let me just tell you that when we were driving to Arlington, I guess we had never been to Arlington during that time of the year, but it was so very pretty. It was so very pretty. And if the trees can let go of every leaf that they have been hanging on to during the fall of the year, why are you still holding on to the things that is so very heavy that needs to be let go in your life? If the trees can do it, why can't you do it? But again, as I stated before, we are so used to hanging on to those things that no longer serve you. Am I live on YouTube? I'm not on live. Am I live on YouTube? I may be, Ned. I have no idea. That's not my intent, but if I am, good deal. Hey, Sister Sherry, how are you doing on tonight? So, one of the things that also I wanted to tell you all is that hopefully I will be talking about for the next couple of weeks a little bit about the fall season. Now, I absolutely love the fall season. Most of the time, my husband will tell you that spring is his favorite season. But I would have to say the fall is mine. And so because of all the beautiful things and the trees, and it's getting ready to be really my favorite time of the year, which is Christmas, the fall just leads us right into it. And I think it's all of the beautiful colors that I see that makes me really love fall. Tell me in the chat, what is your favorite season? And if it's the fall season, tell me why. Somebody put that in there, okay? You know what? Just like like I said, the leaves fall without resistance, we must learn to let some things go in our life. But you may say, well, what does that look like when the things that you need to let go may have a name? Yes, may have a memory or a meaning. But I think the biggest thing that we need to understand is that sometimes we have to understand that the hardest things that we have to let go is sometimes the things that we really need to let go. And when we let go of those things, God normally blesses us with something much greater. And I say normally because it's really a mindset. Sometimes we can hold on to things for so long that we think, yes, fall because of the beautiful color foliage. Yes, absolutely, Sister Sherry. Sometimes we can hold on to things for so long, and we can hold on to people, and we can hold on to a mindset for so long, and it's really no longer serving you. But let me tell you that letting go is a holy thing. It's not a selfish thing. You know, God commands us to do things decently and in order. And he also, different people will say that there are just some places that you cannot take everybody with you. And I know that to be true. Sometimes when God begins to move us into certain positions or move us into certain areas, some of the people that we once were associated with, not that it's anything wrong with them, but I'm a true believer that when people say that some people come into our life for a season, for a reason, and sometimes when those seasons have passed, we are still holding on to people or things or mindsets, and we need to let it go. And because we can't let it go, then God is not able to bring in the things that he wants to bless us with, whether it be a mindset, taking you to a different level, moving you to a different position. We can't, if because we haven't let go of some of that old stuff, and I don't want to classify people as old stuff, but what I'm saying is there are some things that we have to just let it go. For an example, I'm talking about the fall season. You know, in the fall, we have to change the type of clothing that we wear. But guess what? If we don't make space in our closets, or if we don't start putting away those things that we wore in the summertime, then we're not going to have any space in our closets for our fall clothing. And usually in fall, ladies, what do we pull out? In the wintertime, what do we pull out? We start pulling out our sweaters. We start pulling out our boots. We start pulling out our colors that are a little bit fall colors. And that's what we start putting on. That's what we start wearing. Hello there, my friend Melinda. We start changing some of the things that we are wearing. But guess what? If you do not clean out your closet, if you do not make space in your closet for those things, then, or if you don't get rid of those things and start making some room, then God cannot bless you with some other things that you need to maybe add to your wardrobe. So we want to just kind of think about, you know, the fall of the year. And sometimes people think about when they're thinking about fall. Hello there, Renita. When people are thinking about fall, people start thinking about, you know, as the leaves are changing, as the leaves are falling, they're thinking about things that are dying, things that are no longer whatever. But it's not necessarily that it's dying. I like to say that it's preparing for what's to come, okay? And just think about it. Not everything that falls, like the leaves off the tree and the different things, dying is not necessarily a loss, you all, because sometimes we think about the things like that, like when we're pruning our trees and we're doing all of that all of those different things. Those are necessary steps for what is to come. Okay, so if you're expecting those big, beautiful blooms and you're expecting it to come back next year, we've got to start preparing some things. We've got to start pruning some things. Hello there, my good friend, Sister Tina. You've got to start preparing those things, because a lot of times the beauty is actually in the release of those things. I look at my rose bushes out there, and of course they go through a seasons of change. You know, sometimes they are looking like they have just literally just died. Everything is looking brown, and it's looking like, oh my goodness. But guess what? When the seasons change, Melinda, they come back beautiful. They come back lush. They come back a little bit fuller. And so, and the same thing with some of the hedges around our front yard. When the yard guy comes and he cuts all of that stuff down till it's almost nothing. It looks like someone has just kind of come through and just, I would say, bush hog everything that's in the front yard. But guess what? He's just preparing it for the next season. And so he has to do that in order for us to, for it to come back. So what are you holding on in this season? Okay. What are you holding on in this season that you need to let go? Things that have expired, things that are no longer serving you, preparing what's to come. Absolutely. Some of the roles that you have, the responsibilities that you have, the guilt that you may have. What are some things that you are holding on to that has long expired, that has the expiration date has come and gone, and you're still holding on to it? And then not only what are you holding on to, Why are you holding on to it? Okay. Why are you still holding on to those things that's not serving you any purpose? It's not doing anything good for you. Okay. I can tell you that a lot of times we do it out of formality. We do it because that's just the way that we've always done it. We do it because, hey, no one said that I had to let it go. No one told me the reason I needed to let it go. They just said, just kind of keep holding on to it or just stand in that spot until, whatever. But let me just tell you, sometimes you will definitely know when things are no longer serving you a purpose. Sometimes it begins to drain our energy. Our energy is just depleted. Not only is our energy depleted, but we become sick and tired and sick. And that lets you know that when you are involved in a thing, just like I was saying, that when Melinda, I see you, Melinda. Um, when you are still doing a thing, like I said, either a thing or a relationship or whatever, those things that are beginning to drain you, why are you still holding on to them? What are you getting out of that situation that will not allow you to let it go? And then on the flip side of that, what are those things that are lifting you? What are those things that are giving you that energy that's making you feel alive, making you feel energetic, and you're ready to go and do whatever? Those are the things that you really, really need to take a look at it. Signs that it's time to let it go. Again, I said, you're constantly frustrated, you're upset, you're angry, you may have some anxiety, you may have some regrets. Sometimes we are doing things that we should have let go a long time ago, but you're overdoing it. So you're trying to really keep up. I'd say it's almost like we're on that little um, uh, hamster wheel where you're just going, going because you're trying to keep up. But you should have gotten off of that hamster wheel a long, long time ago. Sometimes, you all, it's relationships that we're in. And I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you need to get rid of your husband. Because listen, I'm not getting rid of mine. All right? I'm not getting rid of mine. After 40 plus years, we're going to make it work. But sometimes there are relationships that we need to put some separation in between the two. And I'm not saying it's a spouse, but sometimes it could be. It could be a friend. It could be a friend. Somebody said, let it go, Melinda. You're exactly right. Again, like I said, you know your situations. You know what's draining you. You know what's frustrating you. You know what you need to let go. I don't have to tell you, okay? But you will begin, your body, your everything about you will begin to tell you, hey, this is not a good relationship. And again, like I said, it may not be a romantic relationship. It could be a different type of relationship. It could be a relationship with a friend. It could be a relationship with whatever, or it could be a relationship with a thing, a relationship, because sometimes we get involved in certain things or that we have long outgrown it and we don't let it go. All right. It could also be a habit or something that we do out of habit or out of routine or whatever. What are those things that is no longer serving you? And again, I said earlier, it could be a mindset. All right. Sometimes we can move from one situation to another, but our mindsets don't change. And I talked about this, a long time ago about fixed mindsets, and different things like that. But sometimes our mindsets have not shifted. We have not had a shift in our way of thinking. Okay. Someone said, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl, and different things, or take the, different things like that. Sometimes your mindsets have to change. And I'm not saying don't be a country girl, okay? Born and bred in Nacogdoches, East Texas. That is my story, and I'm not changing it. But sometimes you have to know when it's time to make a shift. But not only that, what I want you to also think about is that boundaries are beautiful. Exactly. And Melinda, we talked about boundaries for about 2 weeks, last week and I think the week before. But one of the things that also is that you have to give yourself permission to let it go. And don't let nobody make you feel guilty about letting things go. And that was part of that boundaries, what Melinda just mentioned. Don't let anybody make you feel guilty about letting some things go. And here's another thing that a lot of times you hear people talk about, we need closure. We need closure. Well, yes, some may need closure, but not everybody needs closure to be able to move ahead. Okay? Not everybody needs that closure to be able to move ahead, or to move forward, or to stop doing what you're doing. Sometimes you just got to pick it up and move. Okay, you're not waiting for the closure. Sometimes we just need to make a shift. Okay, and when you make a shift and start operating in the place that you are now in, God will lead and guide your steps. Believe me, I'm a witness of that. We picked up and we moved from Nacogdoches, you all. Didn't know anybody in Baytown. I don't even know if I had ever heard of the city Baytown. I didn't know anybody here, had never been to Baytown. And when God said go, we packed up and we left. And it has been a tremendous blessing. But we had to get to the point of releasing what was no longer serving us, okay? Now, I'm not saying Nacogdoches wasn't serving us, but we knew that there was something more for us to do in a different city, in a different place. And so what we had to do was to make the commitment and make the move. You know, my mom is still in Nacogdoches at the time when we moved here. Boris's parents were still in Nacogdoches. My family was there, but we had to be obedient to God. And again, when I say, if God gives you the go ahead, then go ahead and do what you must do. Don't waste time. Don't try to, whatever, because sometimes we can sit there and try to figure everything out and try to say, okay, I need to put this in place. I need to put that in place. I need to have all of this done. I need to have all of this done. And guess what? We're wasting time. When I actually moved to Baytown, you all, I did not have a place to stay. I said, jokingly, I said, I moved to Baytown and I was homeless, but I did have a hotel room. I stayed for the first week that I was in Baytown, that I was working for for Goose Creek. I did not have an address. My address was still in Nacogdoches. I still had my home there. Boris was finishing out the school year there with Will. But I came to Baytown for a week and I lived in a hotel, okay? And that first week, that while we were here, had been looking for a place to live, and thank God we were able to find a place that was it was our rental, but we wind up purchasing that home. So God did some great things, some amazing things. But guess what? I had to be ready to move. I had to be able to let go. I did that today. I got hired yesterday and quit today. The job wasn't serving me. Let it go. Okay, Melinda. Okay. All right. I did that today. Got hired yesterday and quit it today. See there, that's what I'm talking about, you all. We don't have time to waste. When a shift needs to happen, Sister Tina, we do not have time to waste. Because guess what? I've been telling y'all, life is but a vapor. We don't have much time. We just need to be about what God has given us to do, and we need to make it happen. If God tells you, hey, I know you may have thought this, but this is what the reality is. Let it go, keep moving, and I will bless you, okay? And like I said, releasing isn't quitting. It's really aligning in the purpose that God has for you. Releasing isn't quitting. It's aligning in the places and the purpose that God has for you. And don't wait for somebody to understand what you're doing. Don't wait for somebody to understand your growth before you walk in it. Because guess what? God didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. So if God gave you the blueprint, if God gave you what to do, then why are you trying to explain it to somebody else? They're not going to understand it. Okay? So you do and you execute what God has given you to do. Now, my husband and I, we try to make sure that whenever we are making any types of moves or whatever, listen, we're going to pray about it. We're going to pray about it. We're going to pray about it, and we're going to pray some more. And what we're asking is, God, give us clarity. I can remember so many times that our prayer is simply for clarity. And we would just come together and we would say, God, we need clarity. We need for you to make sure that what we're doing, the youngest granddaughter said, hi, mommy. Hello, my sugars. We have to pray and ask God for clarity. God, if this is what you want us to do, then we need you to show us specifically what it is and how you want us to move. Now, he may not show us the whole thing in its entirety. He's not going to do that. But if you're asking for clarity, he's going to give you some clarity to know that you are walking and you in the path that he has designed for you. And we need to throw off everything that is hindering in us, that so easily beset us. And we need to run this race with patience that God has set before us. And that's how we do it, you all. We got to create some space for some new things in our lives. And we've got to make sure that we are in tune with what God has for us. Because sometimes if you're not in tune with what God has for you, then you're going to miss the clues that he's given you. You're going to miss what he is trying to tell you and instruct you to do because you're not in tune. You're not in tune with what God has for you. And when you're not in tune, listen, everything just it's just everything. It's like the leaves that are just falling. And those leaves fall they fall with a purpose, but they just drop wherever. They just drop wherever. So you've got to be in tune. You've got to ask God for direction, okay? In all thy ways, we've got to acknowledge him. And he will lead us in the path that he wants us to go, okay? Y'all, that is just something just so key. And like I said, when we came here, when I say that was a great leap of faith, not knowing anybody, leaving everything that we had ever known in Nacogdoches, leaving our home, leaving our businesses, leaving my parents, Boris leaving his parents, my sisters, my friends, everybody. That was our life. And God sent us to a place. It was almost like the wilderness, you all. We didn't know anybody. The people here looked strange. It was like this was a strange land, you all. I went to Walmart and I was looking at the people and I was like so afraid because I was like, these people don't look like my people in Nacogdoches. This community don't look like my community in Nacogdoches. I was afraid, but I also was doing it afraid because I knew God said, go. I knew, that's funny. Yeah, the people didn't look like my people. But God said, go. He said, go. And when we got here, things began to fall in place. Now, some of you all may have thought, listen, if I don't have a place to stay and I've got to stay in a hotel room, I'm not going. But I knew I couldn't let that stop me. I went to that hotel room. I got up and I went to work at Sterling. I came back home and I locked myself back in that hotel room until the next day. And that was I think I came that Sunday. By that Thursday of that week, I had the keys to my house. By the Thursday of that same week, I had the keys to my house. When I went to work on Friday morning, of course, I checked out of the hotel room. And when I got off from work on Friday evening, I went to my home. I went to my home that my husband met me there that evening about 6 o'clock. and he would bring truckload by truckload to put in the house. You all, the first, when I sat there for the first maybe 3 or 4 hours, I just walked and prayed. There was no chairs. There was nothing for me to sit down on. I sat on the steps. I just sit on the stairs and I just waited. I just waited. And let me tell you all, when you are doing the things that God has ordained you to do, it may look weird. It may feel strange. You may be scared, but do it afraid, you all. Do it afraid. Because if God told you to do it, guys, he's going to bless you through it. Okay? If he told you to do it, he's going to bless you through it. And that's exactly what began to happen. We've been blessed ever since we've been here. And that's simply because we were obedient. I tell you, it pays to be obedient to God. And sometimes we can get a little bit off course. We can get a little bit off course, but guess what? We have an advocate with the Father that all we have to say is, God, forgive me. Pull me back on the right path. God is faithful. He is so very faithful. God, get me back on the right track. Let me continue to walk in the path that you've called me to do. And so I want you all to understand that God is faithful. Sister Tina said, God is faithful. God is faithful. I don't want you all to fear about losing anything, about when I talk about the leaves falling. Don't fear the things that are falling, okay? Don't fear those things. Bless them, release them, and welcome what's coming next, okay? Welcome what's coming next in your life, all right? God has some great things in store for us during this fall season, and we just have to be obedient. We need to let go of those things that are hanging on to us. God will order your footsteps and always provide. This is how I came to Goose Creek also. Yes, he is faithful. Amen, Sister Sherry. You know, you just walking in the path that God has for you. I know that God is a faithful God, and he has blessed us so many times. I should have prayed 10 years ago. God, forgive me. Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, Sister Renita. You know, God is a faithful God. God is a forgiving God. God is a loving God. And I just want you all to know that in this season, you're not in your last season. We're not in our last seasons. We are in a season of blessings. We are in a season of coming to some new things. And the new things are just going to really, I would say, blow your mind. But you got to be prepared for it. You have got to be prepared for it. You know, we have the opportunity to, if you're not prepared, start preparing yourself. You know, but we have been preparing ourselves for a long time for the things that are coming, okay? That's just like me getting close to retirement. And my friend who's on here, Melinda, just retired, and she calls it rewirement, not retirement, but rewirement. But like Melinda and Sister Tina and so many that have retired, my mom, we prepare for retirement, and we look forward to the day where we can do that, because we have great expectations of the things that are to come. If you haven't been preparing for the things that's happening in your life, I want you to know that you can, it's not too late. It's definitely not too late. We don't owe anybody an apology for anything, how we're evolving. We don't have to ask permission for the things that God has given us, okay? We just need to let the leaves fall where they may. Let your shame fall. Let your guilt fall. Your need to be understood fall. Let all of those things fall. And I want you to declare what you release no longer serves me. If I say, and if I ask you to declare this, what I am releasing, it no longer is serving me. Therefore, I'm going to let it go. Therefore, I'm going to let it fall, Miracle. Okay? And I'm going to trust God with what I cannot continue to carry anymore. Again, we carry some heavy, heavy loads, especially the ladies, you all. We carry heavy, heavy loads. but I'm going to trust God with the things that I can no longer carry, whether it's my finances, whether it's my relationships, whether it's my job, whether it's anything. I'm going to trust God to carry the load that's too heavy for me to carry. All right. And this fall, again, I'm going to talk about the fall for a couple of more weeks. This fall, I'm going to choose to fall into freedom. Freedom from this, freedom from that, freedom from these people, freedom from those people, freedom from the obligations that's no longer serving me, freedom from the mindset that's no longer serving me. I am going to I'm going to choose to be free from all of that stuff. I'm going to choose to be free. So letting go, I'm letting go of, in this fall, I'm letting go. Sometimes we got to let it go of some bitterness. Sometimes you got to let go of some unforgiveness. And I love to talk about the bitterness and the unforgiveness, because let me tell you that sometimes it's the bitterness and it's the unforgiveness that is holding back the blessings from God. Sometimes it's that one thing that you don't think that you have let go, but it's that bitterness and that's that unforgiveness. It eats away at you and it puts you in a place where you can't receive all of the good things that God has in store for you. So I want you to let it go, because I need you to choose peace, okay? In this fall season, I need you to choose peace, okay? And when you choose peace, you all, it makes a world of difference. And as I am closing on tonight, I just want to say that I have enjoyed being able to grandstand with you all on tonight. Again, we're going to be talking about fall for the next couple of weeks. So listen, tell the people, get on here. Let's grandstand with Mother Theresa, because she's going to tell us about letting go of some things and releasing some things that's no longer serving you. Let it fall, everybody. Let it fall, okay? Melinda, you're right. Prepare to spend eternity with our Father. Thank you, Sister Tina. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, honey. Bye-bye, my sugars. Thank you, Miracle. I choose peace. Thank you, Sister Sherry. And as my sister Cynthia would often say, good night, grandstanders. We will see you on the next time. Bye-bye.